Hi, I'm Grace,
And I'm Prisca.
and this is the Fighting Club, a space where being together makes us stronger.
Take a break and hang out with us. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Fighting Club podcast. We took a short break and we are back. In December, Grace and I, we got together and we talked about how the season two would look like, and it's super exciting. We love the theme that we landed on. But we also want to share that the new year brought some unexpected changes. And in order to manage everything, I had to make the difficult decision to take a break from our podcast. And we decided that Grace will actually continue with what we had planned out, which I am really thankful and excited for. And fortunately, even with me taking this break, none of what we had planned for season two needed to change. So I have 100% belief in Grace to carry the show forward for this new season. And maybe, Grace, you can share a little bit more about what that will look like.
Well, that means we're not having a friendship breakup. We're still friends.
Yes. Oh, of course. And
It's
for
not,
me,
we
the
have
Fighting
peace.
Club
Yeah.
is more than just a podcast. And it truly is rooted in our friendship first. And I feel like I've really seen that in the way that you've shown up for me. And I think that core value is really going to shine throughout this next season, even while I'm not here. I mean, obviously, we still have our friendship and it's active
Mhm.
apart from this podcast, but that is really what is driving all of this. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm really thankful for you.
Oh, me too. Yeah, so I think the things we hoped in season two to focus on was really the connections that you have in the friendship and um you know fighting for joy because it's been a very crazy time for a lot of people and people are going through things personally too, but we want the time that we have each week to be a space where you can find a little happiness and joy. Something new that we're going to bring to season two is having a joy corner section. And we're going to show that ourselves what that is between us. But with new guests that we bring in for the first time to Fighting Club podcast, they will also be asked about their joy corner and then also their useless talent show, which Prisca can share more about as well. But in terms of, um, yeah, the Joy Corner, we just really wanted to have a space where we can talk about things that make us really happy and joyful. That's not related to anything at all,
Mhm.
but things that give us a little spark of joy. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Prisca, do you want to share a little more where that came from as well?
I think it came from
What it
just
is.
this idea that um do you remember we were having a conversation at Green Lake and we were like, do you want to have an episode where we just like talk about what we do
Mm.
and like what we spend most of our time doing or
Oh,
what our
yeah.
job is and things like that. And the kind of feeling was like,
No.
no.
Heck no. I don't want to talk about work at all.
But it was like really cool because we kind of leaned into that feeling, which led us to the question of like, well, what do we want to spend our time talking about and like commit the space to? Because a lot of our days are spent like doing things that, yeah, we might be passionate about or enjoy, and it's our job and we're committed to, and um, things that could easily define us, or when people see us, they can
Mm,
see,
mm,
yeah, like what you do.
Right.
and your title or your position. But there are also things that we don't necessarily get a chance to talk about in
Mm,
a lot of these spaces that we find ourselves in.
mm,
Like, and it could be the most random thing that we might think is interesting or cool or is giving us life, but maybe awkward to bring up in any random conversation, you know?
mm, 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 mm.
Like something that I was randomly into at some point was like, you know how the Japanese rapping,
Yeah.
and it's different from the way that we have learned how to rap gifs and stuff. Like one time I was just like, went down this rabbit hole of watching YouTube videos of like how like this Japanese style of wrapping gifts.
Mm.
And you know, if I'm like on a play date with like another parent or or like I'm at some school event or
You're not gonna talk about
yeah,
all
I
these
don't know.
random YouTube videos
How am
you
I
watch
gonna
of
bring that up? Like it's
Japanese
so
people
random.
rapping the Japanese way.
Yeah, it's nice to have a space where you could just talk about literally anything that is giving you joy or that's
So
sparking
random.
interest in you right
Yeah.
now that maybe people have like no idea about
Mm. Yeah, so
or
let's
wouldn't
go into
expect.
that.
Huh?
Yeah. Let's go into that.
Yeah.
Let's go into Kriska's Joy Corner. You mentioned one of the things in your Joy Corner is a Japanese rapping. Initially, I thought it was about like rapping in Japanese, like hip hop
Mhm.
rapping, but you're talking about rapping. What else is in that Joy Corner? Something unexpected, something that's life-giving and gives you joy.
Well, kind of like I've been thinking about like that Japanese rapping
Uh-huh.
thing
Uh-huh.
and like why I'm so intrigued by it.
Yeah.
I think it's like I think I really like precision and like when it's like connected to creating something like really beautiful. And
Oh.
so along the lines of that, another rabbit hole that I've gone down on YouTube is ballet. I
Oh.
have never I don't have any ballet background. But the more that I like was watching these videos, the more that I could see like what really goes into looking so graceful and literally looking like you're floating or in the
Yeah.
air. But actually, it takes a lot of strength
Yeah.
and precision to do that. And I was so inspired that I did end up taking a ballet class, like an intro class, and it was so hard. Like I did not look graceful at all.
Wait, when did you do that? The ballet class? Because I also did.
It was over the summer.
Oh.
And I was in a play and my character knew ballet. So part of it too was also to try to like get
Oh.
into my character's world. But
Mm.
I just couldn't, I didn't look graceful. And that's when I realized like, wow, it takes a lot of years and training to get to a basic level of looking good in ballet.
Mm.
But like the concept of that, I could
Mm.
also apply to something that I can do, which is playing piano.
Mm.
And like, um, yeah, the precision, like hitting all of the notes
Mm.
and getting your fingers in the right place, your
Mhm.
posture and everything sort of like aligning.
Mm.
Just as in ballet, like there's
Mm.
alignment and then there's lines. I felt like I could apply that to
Oh.
how I was practicing piano. But I think something about like precision, it
Mm-hmm.
just like feels good to me, you
Mm.
know?
It's like the
And
beauty
the
in precision.
lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so like yeah, so another thing that I really enjoy is playing piano.
Mm.
Um like I love so at the beginning when you learn a piece, it's really hard, right? You're just
Yeah.
like learning the
Find a note.
notes,
Yeah.
just stumbling, it doesn't sound good. And it's even harder because I really struggle with this like perfectionist mentality and like this desire for it to sound good right away. So I
Mm.
have to like struggle through that mentally.
Mm.
But then I just love that point when you've practiced so much that you're no longer in your head anymore. Like you just spend hours and hours like learning the notes and like thinking so hard about what's supposed to come next. Um, but then there's like a point in that journey where you s- you can you don't have to be in your head and you can just start playing. And
Mm.
that point is so satisfying to me.
Mm.
Yeah.
I just got chills. You sharing that because it's like the beauty of mastering a technique and then having that
Mm.
spontaneity and improvisation that you're able to apply
Yeah.
to something
Yeah.
precise, and you can be a little less precise and make it
Yeah.
personalized and beautiful too, and express yourself in the way that you want to.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Because it's like you just spend so much time putting work in, and you do need to have precision. But in order to get to a place where you don't have to like think about it anymore, maybe the satisfaction also comes with knowing like how much work was put
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Um, and it's also similar to like acting too, because
Mm.
oh, the memorization part
Oh
for
yeah.
me is like the worst part. I
Yeah.
hate it. Like I
Yeah.
just even just like sitting down to memorize, I procrastinate a lot just because I really hate that part.
Yeah. It's
And
hard.
yeah, I'm like cursing and like just not a happy it's not a happy session.
Yeah.
And but it's like you work so hard to learn the lines and like working hard to, in your acting method and all that stuff, and then just like getting to a point where finally you can be driven by instinct to say that line. But even though you had to memorize it and you know what you're gonna say, like getting to a point where you say it because you have to say it, because you're living in that reality and it
Mm-mm.
just comes naturally.
Mm.
It's the same feeling,
Mm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense.
Yeah.
After you
So,
mastered like the script, then you can
mhm.
improvise and personalize and then express your artistic self through all the precision practice you've done.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool how there's like that parallel in the different artistic ways to express yourself. Through
Hmm.
music or acting, like ballet, do dance.
Well, I don't do dance.
Oh,
That is sort of
you
like I'm
attempted.
inspired from afar.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
just like taking, like the connections that I'm making to, other things that I'm
But doesn't that,
pursuing.
when you do something that's so hard, you appreciate the people who do it so well even more,
Yeah.
right? Because like I play violin for most of my childhood. I am so bad at it. When I listen to like an amazing symphony or orchestra play, and
Hmm.
then like you see the violin like solo or listen to it, I'm just amazed because I'm like, this is really hard to master. And then for them to like play it in the way they do with so much heart
Yeah.
and passion, I'm like, they're so good. This is amazing,
Yeah.
genius work in front of me. Even though I never got good at it. Like I just, because it was so hard, I was like, this is really amazing art.
Yeah, to be able to get to a point where you can be expressive
Yeah.
and like you can tell us like a story that moves somebody and you make it believable, it's authentic. Like so much went into
Yeah.
that. And I
Yeah.
think it's that I really enjoy that journey, even though there's some parts that I don't enjoy, but it's those parts that are hard that make it kind of fun for me and thrilling for me. It's
Mm.
sort of what I guess drives me forward and
Mm.
getting that feeling of satisfaction, like that
Yeah.
shift from being all in your head to now, oh, it's like it's in me, it's part of me. Yeah. I'm part of like a theater company now that basically does like solo shows. like mostly in schools, but also in museums, anywhere that books them. And it's to share stories from history and get people engaged with like issues, um, like social justice issues and like learning from our history. So my story is about a Japanese American high schooler who was living during like World War II and just her experience going through the incarceration camps. It's like a 30-minute show, and that took a lot of work.
Yeah.
It took a lot of work. I
30
worked with
minutes of script you had to memorize.
30 minutes of script. I'm also interacting with a video that's
Mm,
being shown behind me. So there's like other characters and they say things and then I respond, or I respond to things that are being said. So I
mm.
also have to work on like timing.
Oh, wow.
Um, and I worked with a director. She helped me a lot. And and I had the same feeling like once I gave my first performance, like I just felt so good. I felt so proud. I
Mm.
felt so satisfied to get to a place where after all of this work and preparation and rehearsal, now I'm really like living as this character
Yeah.
and speaking as her and living her life. So yesterday I did like a full day of shows at a school and I got some really good feedback from the students. They
Oh,
were
that's
so
so
sweet.
amazing.
Um, they were like, that was so, like one person was like, the acting was so amazing and it was so believable. Like it like took me into the story.
Wow.
And another kid, he was like, I would give that I would give that a 9.643298
What?
out of 10 because nothing is perfect,
Oh,
but
God.
that's what
Okay.
and his teacher was like calling his name. I don't remember his name, but she's like, like James, be quiet or whatever. But he was trying to offer,
Yeah.
like a compliment.
Positive, yeah,
Yeah,
feedback.
and I really appreciated that because what some of these like students when they were talking about my acting, it was it's kind of like that's what my goal is to make it feel
Believable.
authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my goal. And so that felt like I felt very affirmed.
Oh,
Um, and all that hard work paying off.
wow. You
Yeah.
became her. That's
And I'm also like taking an acting class that's really intense. That I think I could apply a lot of the things that I'm learning into this performance that's helped me.
was paying off.
Um,
All I know that acting class is really, really tough, so that training is paying off in this, even in this
mhm.
production, you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, because there's a difference between like in a story, it's like that in this moment you have to be surprised. You
Hmm.
can't just be like, like you can't just act surprised. You
Right.
have to really be compelled
Embody it.
by something real, and
Yeah.
then that's what makes it believable,
Yeah.
whatever comes out from that. Yeah, what you're feeling inside,
Yeah.
rather than like you put on a surprised face.
Yeah. I love that for you. I love that you got to get that feedback immediately from people who absorbed your art on stage and that it was
Hmm.
positive and you got to enjoy it. Enjoy
Yeah,
other people you enjoying the stage too.
yeah. I
Cool.
really, I really enjoyed it yesterday. That was I guess, my first official full day of doing the show. And basically, what I do is I'm like with this company, it's like an actor slash teaching artist. So after the show, I facilitate like a discussion with the
Oh,
students.
interesting.
Um,
fun.
And it's just really cool to hear what they pick up on and, making connections and um like how they're empathizing with the character and then kind of bringing it back to like the present day and how we can engage
Mhm.
and stand up against like injustice.
Mm.
So, I used to work with kids and I haven't in a while, but that just sort of like reminded me of how much I love seeing like young people um like actively in real time like learning things
Yeah.
and that what they have to say is really valuable and
Mm.
important.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I really enjoyed that part too.
Oh, so even that like unexpected joy from interacting and engaging with young people from your
Mhm.
performances. That's cool. So they're also part of your joy corner.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I like I like seeing kids just like um affirmed for where they're at.
Mm.
Because there were some moments where I felt like um it's easy for teachers to kind of step in and like correct a child
Yeah.
in what they're saying or
Yeah.
uh, wanting them to be more formal or present
Mhm.
a certain way. But I just really like when kids are just being kids.
Yeah.
And um, yeah, I just had this like random memory of a long time ago. I did the summer camp and the kids, it's like the end of the day right before pickup and everyone's just it's like chaos. And I needed some way to like round them up together and bring order back. But I didn't really feel like anybody was in this like mode of being able to sit down in a chair and be quiet and wait. And there was this like big box of costumes in the corner. And so I had the idea of like, okay, let's do a fashion show. And like everybody just pick out something and then each person will come down the center and we'll all sit on the side and watch them and cheer them on or whatever, And that was like a way to bring order
Mm.
while also sort of meeting them where they were at. Like they needed to get some energy out.
Mhm.
And then this was like a way that we could come together in this fun way.
Mm.
Um, and it's like manageable chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Mm.
don't really know where I'm going with that, but that was just
No, it's another part
fun
of your
memory.
enjoyment with the young people that it comes up from just this current and recent interaction with them.
Hmm.
How you've done that in the past.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
also kind of sounds like it's stuff that like you and I didn't get to really experience as much as children, like being affirmed for just where we're at and what we have to provide and their input as
Hmm.
kids to adults.
Yeah. Like I don't want to put kids down for how they're showing up in the moment because
Yeah,
it could be just really all they know and
right.
they're just learning.
Right.
Everything's new.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Anything else you want to share about items in your joy corner?
That's probably my some of my biggest
Mm.
things that I've been giving time to, but in like a not in a secret way, because
Yeah.
I'll share with people what I like to do, but it's not necessarily things I get to really
Talk
talk
about.
about a lot,
Yeah.
which is like I do spend a lot of time playing piano.
Yeah. And you
And
performed for us during the holidays and it was so beautiful.
yeah, thank you for letting
Very
me do
moving.
that.
Yeah.
Like I and then thankfully I get to work from home a lot. And so whenever I need to sort of wind down, the piano is where I go to.
Yeah.
And and then acting, that's been growing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say those are the things that are giving me life right now.
Well, it's giving me life hearing you talk about what gives you life. So thanks for sharing your joy corner.
Yeah.
It's
What
fun.
about you? Let's go into your joy corner.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed celebrity gossip, and
Mm-hmm.
it started back in high school when one of my college friends hung. She introduced me to Lainey Gossip, which is a gossip website online.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's actually by this like Chinese Canadian woman who started a blog and would just cover kind of the inside knowledge of how Hollywood works and how they work with paparazzi and media outlets in order to get more coverage on them to like increase their fame. Like they would call the photographers to certain restaurants or outside their home so they would get photographed and it would make it into the magazines. Back in the day when there were magazines were how people saw celebrities before social media.
Back in the day.
Back in the day before Instagram and TikTok and all the social
Wanted to
media.
find what magazines are for people. Just kidding.
Paper, books. Pamphlets that had
Video.
pictures of people with some words describing the photos. Um, but I really enjoyed like understanding like the behind the scenes of that world
Mm-hmm.
outside of what we just saw in magazines. It's just like these like
Mm-hmm.
beautifully like posed photos of these other like otherworldly people in Hollywood and
Yeah.
how people manipulate the system in order to get what they want and get fame. And
Yeah.
I'm so fascinated on that dynamics. Um, so I've enjoyed it since high school and been following it, and obviously now there's like social media, personalities and people who cover celebrity gossip and now podcasts. And I think especially in this season where it's just been kind of like dark and heavy for many reasons in our country, um, I like to listen to celebrity gossip podcasts that are more positive and not as like conniving and snarky and mean spirited.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I there's this like one former Hollywood publicist, like he used to be a publicist for J-Lo and Jessica Simpson,
Mm-hmm.
and then he became a journalist, a Hollywood like celebrity journalist, and now he has a podcast. It's called Naughty or Nice with Rob Shooter. And he's just so sweet about it. Like he talks about people in Hollywood who are being naughty and talks about why it's like not good to be disrespectful to people. And then he'll talk about Hollywood people who are like doing nice things and good things and highlight them.
Mm-hmm.
But I just like how respectfully he just talks about people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and get to hear the goss, like the latest goss.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been really enjoying that.
Like, what do you think is the thing that kind of like intrigues you about that
That
world?
world.
Yeah. Like
Um,
celebrities in particular.
yeah, I think what's interesting to me is the dynamics and the relationships that they have with people in their own circles, with the media, with the public, and then
Mm-hmm.
how I don't know what's really true or not unless like you're friends with the celebrities, but
Mm-hmm.
I like to understand the interpersonal dynamics and like how people are getting along, not getting along. I think this is part of why I also like reality TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking back to high school. Whenever my friends from a different high school told me about the drama that's happening with their friend group, I always remembered all their names and what was happening in those relationships so that even like 4 or 5 years later, I would be like, remember when Brittany and Christina said this because Josh did this? Like, so what's going on now? Like, I would just remember that. And I just enjoyed people dynamics. And they're like, how do you remember that from so many years ago? And I just I just think is really fascinating and interesting. Like
Yeah.
the drama between people, the good and the bad, like just like what's happening in people's relationships. So
Yeah.
it's not just celebrities, it's just like people in general, like but celebrities, it's like there are dedicated spaces where people are talking about relationships. So
Mm-hmm.
I've even found that yesterday, I'm trying to connect with my husband on like what he likes, which is football and sports. But apparently, football and like sports, there's a lot of gossip around it and drama and like players' relationships with each other, with the coaches,
Mm-hmm.
the media too. And I'm like, I could really get into understanding football, just understanding their social dynamics and like their personalities and everything. So I feel like it's a way to connect with my husband.
Yeah.
But it's the social dynamics, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah. I mean, aren't there like podcasts dedicated to that too? It's
Probably.
like specifically sports and like football gossip and relationship stuff.
That's what I
Yeah.
hear. I need to go explore it. I just learned about it yesterday. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is where my worlds like cross over with my husband's. He
Mm-hmm.
always judges me for like listening to celebrity gossip. He's like, what is that doing for your soul? This is not good for you. I'm like, I know, but
Well, but I think there is also something really fascinating about, well, on the celebrity level,
mm,
because on the celebrity level, you're bringing in a whole other relationship with the public. And
mm,
that adds another layer that's pretty fascinating. Okay, so I'm thinking about like
mm,
singers who write songs about drama that's happening that everybody knows about.
mm,
And now like everybody's intrigued by
mm.
their songs that has just come out because you know all about what's happened.
Like Kendrick Lamar and Drake.
Yeah, like there's
Yeah,
like a
it's
ex
super important.
relationship or like
Yeah,
there's a feud or something and
yeah,
everybody knows about it, but now they release a song about it
yeah,
and like you are already following this thread. And
yep,
so now that song is going to get a lot of listens
yeah,
and that person will benefit from the
yep,
drama. So
yep,
then moving forward, let's say that drama was actually real,
yeah.
but then now moving forward, it's like, do you have to continue
Creating drama.
your success through, yeah, like now do you create drama? And I'm sure, I mean, I will never know, but like people like Taylor Swift has written a lot of
Yes.
songs, about relationships that everybody follows or
Yeah.
things that happen in her life, like with Kanye and
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I think that that is right. Like that added layer of engaging the public for celebrities in addition to social dynamics because I remember reading in the Lainey Gossip blog when I was in college that there were some celebrities who would intentionally get into a car accident in
Mm,
order for paparazzi to cover them
hmm.
in a specific type of car that they have a brand relationship with to cover.
Ooh.
And I don't know if it's totally a conspiracy or if it's true, but the
Mhm.
lengths that some people might go for fame, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if that is what they're doing. In
Oh yeah.
addition to like these fake or real feuds and drama with friends or boys or girls or whatever, or
Hmm.
rappers, like that's why it's kind of hard to know and why I even enjoy like the celebrity gossip podcast coverage of it or by Hollywood celebrity gossip journalists because it's like let's uncover what is the real truth. Like this is one story this celebrity is telling to the public, but what's really happening behind the scenes and what are the tactics
Hmm.
in order
Yeah.
to manipulate? I think that's just so interesting too.
Maybe you were like an investigative reporter in your past life or something like that.
Maybe.
But I feel like you also sort of work in a sector where there is a face that a
Yeah.
lot of people have to present and then another life,
Yeah.
in politics, like that's something that people constantly have to balance and
I've been thinking about that a lot, yeah, in the last year, how much overlap there is in politics and celebrity culture, political culture and celebrity culture, and
Mhm.
why there might be a just like a tacit understanding between like celebrities in Hollywood and politicians, uh,
Mm,
because they do a lot of the same tactics and are engaging with the public in a similar way from different platforms and different
yeah.
spheres. But the tactics they I think is very similar too. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, I find it very, very, very fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like I got a little glimpse of it when I was watching House of Cards.
Oh my God. Yeah. People were just like, is that really what happened? I'm like, it's clearly dramatized, but there are aspects of it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the motivation, wasn't like really to help people,
Yeah.
but more like how can I get more
Hmm.
influence,
Hmm.
um, more like coverage.
Hmm.
And
More
yeah.
power.
So
Yeah.
that was what was driving the decisions.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was interesting to see like what kinds of things these politicians were like giving up
Mm.
or compromising.
Mm.
It's like they were playing a game of like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll give this up if I can
Yep.
get this. Sorry,
Yep.
it's so vague because I don't really know like politics.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it wasn't about helping people at all. It was about
Making
power
deals.
and influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
if I look bad in this one moment, well then at least
Hmm.
it'll put me
Hmm.
on the radar, like
Hmm.
that kind of thinking. So it's
Hmm.
similar to, oh, if I get in a car accident as a celebrity, it's not a good thing, but
But it
at
doesn't
least
get
it'll
coverage.
it'll get people talking about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
But
this
yeah.
other thing in celebrity gossip culture that where people talk a lot about people getting into contractual relationships with celebrities getting into contractual relationships with each other because it benefits both of them. So there's talks allegedly that Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner are in a contractual relationship in order to elevate the
Mm,
profile of their fame in Hollywood for both of them by being together.
mm,
And some people have celebrity journalists have said, yes, people can enter those contractual relationships and they sign a contract saying that they're going to be in a relationship and fall in love and really then actually like each other. But but some of it might just be to elevate both of their celebrities. They say that about
yeah.
Kendall Jenner with Bad Bunny as well, that it was a contractual relationship to elevate both of their celebrities. And I was status, and I was just like, oh, that's so interesting. Just like what people do. And it outside
Yeah.
people are like, oh my God, Kendall's with Bad Bunny. But it's like actually they're manipulating the public
I
to
mean,
get
I
them to
could
talk about them more.
totally believe that
Yeah.
because you're using the way that things are set up to benefit yourself. But
Yes.
like also at the same time,
Maybe it
as a
does.
celebrity, like
Yeah.
everybody will always question you and
Yeah.
whether like the relationship that you're in is real.
Yeah.
It's just, ugh.
No, it's just interesting. So
It's very
yeah,
messy, but it sounds like you are very intrigued by the messiness
I
of it all
love the
and like
mess.
figuring it out. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's so, I enjoy it. But yeah, I like the positive coverage of gossip. And then another thing in my joy corner is Starbucks. I love Starbucks. It's such a basic thing to say, especially for you're in Seattle and I'm in Seattle twice a year and my husband's from there, but it's like I just love the consistency you get with a Starbucks coffee, especially an ice like oat milk latte. And I love getting the stars. And I'm in Irvine right now, um, here for my husband's conference. But I saw Starbucks inside a grocery store, and my eyes lit up, and I smiled so big, and I was like, "Why am I so happy?" It's like I see something that I love and know what I'm gonna get. I'm like,
Aw.
can't wait to go to the Starbucks and order this like iced latte that I really like.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's another kind of thing in my joy corner. And then when I get like 200 stars or more, I can get from my purchases at Starbucks. I can get any size, like flavored latte that I want. I get like the venti, the largest one, and I get the most expensive latte possible.
That
And I
just
make it
means
last
their
for
whole
2 days.
like marketing and
I
loyalty
know.
program is really working
It
out.
totally is working. My husband's like, you just need to go and like tell them to pay you to be an ambassador because you boys are obsessed with Starbucks wherever we go. Even when we went to Germany, I was like, we need to get to Starbucks in Germany. I was like, why? So
Starbucks, if you're listening.
I want to be a brand ambassador. Um, I've loved you for years. Yeah, Starbucks, and then I I really enjoy like the dating shows and reality TV shows.
Did you
Um,
watch Singles Inferno?
yes, I watched the most recent season and the most recent season of
Love is Blind?
Love is Blind in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see it too?
Yeah, I watched both of them. But
You
it
did.
was honestly, for me personally, the Singles Inferno, the latest one was really hard to get through.
Yeah.
You thought so too?
It was annoying. I think I skipped through a lot because it was like I wasn't as invested in the characters and they a lot of them annoyed me. And I think the best seasons are of a show are always the first season because you don't know what you're gonna get into. Like I know people are going for clout chasing, but like I just
Yeah.
feel like they're manipulating us. I don't even know. I don't trust the characters and
So
I think
now
they're
it's
being
like,
vulnerable.
now that you're like several seasons in,
Yeah.
it's that layer of like, now is it real? Like, are
Yeah.
people only getting on to be famous?
Well, they
Yeah.
definitely are getting on to be famous, but are they showing their authentic selves? And I just feel like
Hmm.
some people are just really good at doing that, and most of them are not.
Hmm.
And I think it's easier when it's the first season and you have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. It was hard, right? I don't know why. I mean, for me, it
Yeah.
was
The show that I was really like enjoying was Love After Divorce. Is that
that was so good because
that
it was
was
just so
it's
authentic.
that
Everything
was
was so
authentic
authentic.
and really interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was
Especially
interesting because of their dynamics as a type taboo to be divorced in Korea, and they're
yeah.
Korean Americans who are literally speaking
Yeah.
Korean to each other in America. Actually, they were in Mexico, I guess, and then they eventually come to LA and Seattle and other places. But
Mhm.
yeah, what did you enjoy about that
Well, I
show?
guess like a show like Singles Inferno,
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like it reinforces sort of
Mm,
toxic
mm.
beauty standards and
Oh my God,
role.
look.
Oh my God.
Talking about
Oh,
Starbucks.
that's pretty.
This is a Starbucks. This is a special edition Starbucks tumbler I asked my mom to get in Korea. She went to over a dozen Starbucks in Korea because she couldn't find it anywhere. Isn't it beautiful though?
It's so pretty.
But this is how obsessed I am with Starbucks. I'm like asking my mom to get special edition tumblers from Korea.
Well, if it brings you joy,
It does.
I can clearly see.
All right, you were saying about singles.
Oh yeah, like I feel like Singles Inferno reinforces toxic beauty standards or
Yeah.
unhealthy beauty
Oh,
standards
totally. Yeah.
and yeah, like more like traditional gender role typey stuff.
Yep.
Whereas Love After Divorce, I liked it because it was like what you said, divorce is kind of
Taboo.
taboo.
Yeah.
And um I think the people who came on the show like know that
Yeah.
deeply.
Yeah.
And yet they still went on to try
Yeah.
to find something real for themselves.
Yeah. I hope they do another season. That was the best dating reality show, I agree, that I've seen. Yeah,
Is
so
there
this
anything else that brings you joy these days?
I mean, besides that is like when I get to um spend time with my family and like
Mm-hmm.
visiting my brother and his kids. We got to go a couple of weeks ago. And I just love spending time with my niece and nephews. They give me so much joy.
Mm,
And yeah, I think just kids, there's something about their innocence and directness. Like they are not filtered. And my niece has so much sass. She's 9 now, and she just sounds like a adult or a teenager, and she just like talks back all the time. And I
mm-hmm.
love it. I am just like, you're a strong girl. Like I can't wait to see you grow up. Love
Yeah.
spending time with, yeah, the little ones. They give me so much joy.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I can understand like when my daughter is sassy, it's hard to deal with sometimes, of
Yeah.
course, but then
Yeah.
part of me is like, I like it. Like,
Yeah,
you
you're like,
know,
yeah, you go, girl.
yeah, I want to respond in a way where I'm not killing that. Like, you know, I
Yeah.
want it to grow
Yeah.
and nurture that.
Yeah. You don't want her to be disrespectful to everyone, but you
Yeah.
also want her to like be vocal. Like,
Hmm.
uh, it's great. Oh, this was great. I'm glad we got to share our joy corners, and this is going to be a segment of our the future episodes with our special guests
Hmm.
that everyone will get to see. But it was really special getting to share that with you.
All right, so we're gonna go into a segment called the Useless Talent Show. And it sort of goes along with the idea of making space for things that are just so random that we don't really get a chance to share in our regular lives. So in the Useless Talent Show, we're going to share um, things that we can do that really serve no purpose.
Yeah, it's
But
useless, literally.
maybe it's kind of cool or unexpected or random, and unique. Yeah, but we wouldn't find ourselves like busting it out in a random conversation with our friends.
Yeah. I will show my useless talent. I
Okay.
am double jointed in my finger. Can you do that? Do you see that?
Can I?
Oh, kind of. You see that? I'm like showing, if you guys are on video, you can see that
Yours is pretty
I'm putting my fingers
angled.
straight and then the edge of my fingers are coming in like this is like being double jointed. This is a useless talent, being double jointed. Dun dun dun. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Prisca, your turn. Go.
My talent that serves no purpose is I can do this thing. Hold on. I
Oh
need to.
yeah. I'll be
Sometimes
quiet.
sometimes it's not there, but
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see.
Prisca's putting her hands together and she's going to blow into it to make a noise. We can't hear it. You have to go into the mic. I
Can
can't
you
hear
hear
it.
it?
No.
You can't hear me?
No. Can you, Maria?
No, I can't either.
Oh, it's so loud.
Go right into the mic. Now you got to put the opening of the hole into the mic.
Tell, tell me if you can hear. Okay, I'm gonna try it again. Yay!
Wow! You really showcase your useless talent.
Total success.
Yeah,
Yeah,
couldn't hear
I could
anything.
really take that somewhere.
Prisca, this was so great. Spending this season two premiere with you. I really got to experience what we wanted in season two in this first episode, the Joy Corner and the Useless Talent Show. That was truly useless. Um, it is bittersweet, but I know it's just for this season that we won't be co-hosting moving forward, and I will be doing this solo with special guests. But obviously we're still friends and we're just like gonna continue our friendship supporting Fight Team Club behind the scenes and support. But yeah, I'm just grateful.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here and that we could start off the show together, and I'm really excited to see how you carry it forward for the rest of the season.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Well, to all of our friends listening,
Hi, team.
fighting. Can't hear anything. We can see you're working really hard.